You've made your product, you've got your thumbnail, you pop it into Etsy, you come up in the Etsy search results, which is a fantastic plus, except your thumbnail is sitting there in the page, the search result page. Your potential customers typed in what they want, wedding invites or whatever. Your thumbnail is sitting there, but it's also got competitor, huge list of competition, all these thumbnails fighting for attention. So you might have the best product in the search results, though the potential customer might not even see it because of the contrast with the surrounding thumbnails. So your thumbnails do need to stand out, and that varies depending on the product and the search results. So yeah, this is just a quick video to go through a few simple tips to draw a bit of contrast between you and your competition. Okay, let's make a start. So today we are not trying to make the world's best looking thumbnail. Obviously we want good looking thumbnails, but this video is about drawing that eye in the search results. So you've made your thumbnail, it's in a search result, it's surrounded by the enemy, and we want the potential client's eye to at least see our thumbnail. They might see it, they'll either like it or not like it, they'll click through or not click through, but at least we want to be seen. We don't want to go to all this effort, come up in the search results, and for nobody to see our thumbnail because the competition's so loud. So we need to be seen. That's the first point of contact, and that increases our chances of the click-through, which increases our chances of the sale, obviously. So tip one is to screen capture your search results. Today we are looking at wedding invites on Etsy. I've typed in wedding invites, I've made a screen capture, and the first tip is to screen capture your competition and turn the thumbnails black and white, so we can see which ones stand out the most. Now there is one thumbnail on this screen which stands out the most when I turn this black and white, and you're probably looking at it now. It is this one just here, because it has the darker colors. When it comes to wedding stationery, most of the time the thumbnails are very light for obvious reasons, weddings, etc. Now this draws a lot of contrast because it is so dark in contrast to the competition. So this could work in reverse if the category is something else besides wedding invites, and most of the thumbnails are very dark. You could go for something lighter. Drawing a bit of contrast might draw the eye. This is a blue invite, I believe. Yep, like a dark blue. But as we can see, it's very, very dark, and the eye definitely sees it. That is the first tip. Turn everything black and white. Have a look to see what your competition are doing. Is everything light? Is it mid-tone? Is it dark? It might be a tip you can implement, maybe not, but it's worth checking before you go making 100 thumbnails. Okay, so the next tip I want to talk about is color. You can use color to draw the eye. For example, red, yellow, green. These are colors that stand out and will work for drawing the eye to your thumbnail, which is great. Color works, draws the eye. However, color can also make your thumbnails look tacky, so you need to approach it in a very clever way. For example, you might have products which are very hard sell. It might be selling kids' toys or whatever, and they'll have color splashed all over the shop. It'll draw your eye if the competition isn't doing the same. If it's like a standalone thumbnail, heaps of color, everyone else is pretty reserved. It'll draw the eye, though it will look tacky. So you need to draw the eye, but not diminish your product at the same time. So just be very clever about it, but color can draw contrast. For example, going back to our screen capture just here, we could add some red or yellow or green, like a very rich green to the thumbnail. As we can see, there's some very dark greens, very light greens. For example, you could have a nice gold foil border, for example. So I'll just apply, I've made one just here. Like a nice little border you could apply to a thumbnail. And obviously it depends on the provider, for example, Etsy, eBay, etc. Just got to make sure you can do this. There is the thumbnail border. Beautiful. Now, does it increase the visibility of the thumbnail? I believe it does. It does draw the eye. You will see this thumbnail because of the border. You are subtracting a bit from the thumbnail because you're eating into that space, but there was nothing there to begin with. In regards to it being tacky, is this a clever way of doing that? I think I prefer it without, though it's just good to understand that color can draw the eye. For example, let's forget about the border for now. Let's just add a yellow bar and see if it draws the eye. Not that we want to do this to our thumbnails, but we just want to see the power of how color can draw the eye. So I'm gonna zoom right in, zoop. Let's have a look. Click. Does this thumbnail stand out more now that it has color applied to it? It certainly does. Your eye does move over to this thumbnail because there's bright yellow color. I think yellow stands out the most in regards to the color chart. But yes, use color, but just apply it in a way that does not look tacky. So it's a two-edged sword. So color does work, bright colors, again, yellow, red, green, use them, though use them in a clever way, which isn't going to make your stuff look awful. Lastly, we are going to talk about shape. So we've talked about contrast, color, and now shape. So this essentially is contrast, color, shape. Now we're doing shape. You probably haven't thought about shape before because you are locked into a rectangle. Doesn't matter where you go, eBay, Etsy, whatever it is, you're normally locked into a little rectangle, and that's your little realm of creativity. You don't have much control over it, though you kind of do. You can give the illusion of shape with your creativity if you were to eat into the space you have been provided. So for example, what I mean by that is, depending on the provider, Etsy, eBay, whatever, you could get away with eating into the thumbnail by applying the same color from the search result background. For example, let's just go click, click. Now imagine we added this shape to our thumbnail image in the corner, and we did, is this white? Let's check. It is, it's pure white, beautiful. And we applied pure white, the Etsy search result, pure white, to our thumbnail. And when it was uploaded, even though it is still a square JPEG image, when we upload it, it would look a little bit different because we have given that corner the same color as the search result background. So that might draw the eye. It doesn't have to be the corner. It could be a little pinch out of the thumbnail using the same color. Might be a little price point, might be, not that you put price on your thumbnail, but it could be something just to draw the eye. For example, let's just delete this for a sec. Let's get a square. Let's turn this square white. And let's turn it on its side and put it just here. Oh my goodness, that draws the eye, doesn't it? Look at the shape. This looks like it's got its own little custom shape, this thumbnail. Beautiful. So do think about shape and the shapes within your thumbnail as well. So like for example, these stand out because these items aren't the norm. For example, everyone's used to seeing rectangle invites, 5x7s, and this one's got the curved top. So that stands out. Obviously it's dark as we discussed before. Shapes within your thumbnails can draw the eye as well. So again, screen capture your competition, look at their shapes. Can you create shapes that are going to cause contrast and make people see you in these search results? It's worth taking into account. It's always good to have additional information when you are making a decision, and you do make a decision when you create a thumbnail. So this video is just essentially about looking at your competition and trying to draw contrast with what you're going to create. So thumbnails take a lot of time. It's worth just looking at the competition. You don't want to make the same thumbnail as they do. You want it to look professional, though you don't want it to be invisible. Because if there are 10 thumbnails that all look professional, all look the same, all use similar colors, the eye is going to have a hard time finding your product. So draw contrast with your competition, but don't do it in a way which is going to look tacky and diminish your product and your thumbnail. So that's the core message of this video, and I hope it helps. If you have any questions, let me know, and appreciate your time.